Welcome to Split the Defense.
Split the Defense.
LEAFS Postgame Edition. Split the Defense is presented by LaForest Electrical Contractors. Professional and efficient service since 2004, serving the Kingston and surrounding areas. Alongside co-host Craig Pearce and producer Ted Evans, here's your host, Jordan Webster.
Welcome to LEAFS post game. I'm here with CP and producer Ted on cam tonight because we are going to talk about the LEAFS facing off against the Colorado Avalanche. The LEAFS win 4-3 against Colorado tonight.
Let's go.
That's 7 in a row now for the LEAFS. And nice little revenge after the last show because last show went the other way. Take a second, please. Thumbs up this episode. Subscribe to our YouTube. Rate us 5 stars anywhere you're listening. And leave us a comment. And we'll respond to it. So what are your initial reactions to this game, boys? Why don't you start us off, producer Ted?
Yeah, great first period, great second period. Oh, man. That ending, that goal by Bertuzzi. Nice little play by Nylander behind the net. Yeah, geez. That's a tough one for the Avs to lose on the delay a game penalty. It was nice to see the Leafs or the refs letting things go a bit. There was a few calls I thought should have maybe been called. Could have changed the outcome, obviously, which I would have liked a different outcome. But obviously you guys wouldn't have. So, yeah, no, good game, though.
Yeah, I agree. The calls could have went either way. I had the exact same feeling about the refs, but I always complain about the refs. So, anyways, what do you think of it, CP?
I mean, just first of all, like, what an unreal game. Like, probably the best game of the year. I mean, it felt like a playoff game. I think it was reffed like a playoff game. Exactly, yeah. I kind of liked how the refs handled it. I didn't want to see any penalty unless it was blatant, because we know that's how it's going to be. So,
like a stick being chopped in half or something.
No, not even that. Just when the puck goes over the glass, basically.
Let the boys play.
Yeah, but I thought it was like kind of survival mode for most of the game. But from the Leafs, I felt like possession time's pretty heavily weighted towards the Avs. But I mean, the Leafs did good to get bodies in front of shots and break things up. But a lot of survival mode and capitalizing when it really mattered. And Bertuzzi or Berthreezy, maybe we should call him. He's just what a game.
That's the name of the episode right there, Berthreezy. I love it.
Yeah, but he was unreal. Like, especially on his birthday, like, couldn't get any better for him.
Yeah, Bertuzzi is so back. Happy birthday, Bert. He gets his 100th goal and a hat trick in the same night. That night is his birthday. Blocking shots with no stick, looking like a goalie at one point out there. Bert was on fire.
He's in the butterfly.
So the crazy thing about all this is that's Tyler Bertuzzi's first multi-goal game as a Leaf. We knew that. But his first since Game 6 of the first round as a Bruin, and his first in the regular season since January of 2022.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that's unreal. Especially, and his other one is like in the playoffs too, right? So that's
yes. And I mean, see, we've always expected more goals from Bertuzzi, but like this is kind of who he's shown us who he is for the last couple of years. He's a great passer, and that's what you get out of Tyler Bertuzzi. But he's doing all the little things, you know, getting in front of that puck tonight. He loses his stick or breaks his stick, whatever, and then just sacrifices the body. Just gives himself up. Do not care. I'm taking the puck. I will save the shot here. And then later on, he's got the stick, and he looks like a mini sticks goalie out there. He's on his knees saving shots with his stick. Just heart in that guy. I think Tyler Bertuzzi officially has the passion.
Yeah, like I have it written like in the first period, way even before he scored, like that he was having quite the game. And like you could just tell the passion that was coming from him just from the get-go. Like I was actually impressed with kind of how like basically the whole team showed up to play. I think that they knew how big of a game it was just as much as we did. And Bertuzzi just stands out. And when I saw in the broadcast that the last time he had a multi-point goal was in the playoffs, Game 6 for Boston Bruins, I thought like, well, that makes sense. The guy that's like we paid to come here to play in big games, like yeah, he hasn't played great in the first half of the season, but ramping up
a big game.
And it proved that that's why we signed him, is because of the playoff performance in Boston, and doesn't have a lot of them because of playing in Detroit, but Like, yeah, he showed up. You could tell the effort level was just at maximum tonight.
Absolutely. So it's pretty easy for us on the Leafs side to name him the Leafs' first star. No competition there. Tyler Bertuzzi on his birthday. Tyler Bertuzzi with the hat trick. So for Ted, who do you think is the Avs' first star tonight? Who stuck out for you?
Nathan MacKinnon. Extending the home point streak, 28 games.
Yeah.
He's scored at home, or gotten points at home, I should say. That's amazing. That's pretty unreal. So he was right on it right away. Got that first assist on the Lehkonen goal, and then another beauty assist on the Cogs goal. It's nice to see Cogs back in the lineup too. But yeah, MacKinnon, I would say first start for the Avs, as he usually is. But yeah, he does his thing. We love Nate.
So it's a one-line team, and a lot of fans will admit that they're a one-line team, but it's one really, really good line.
It's a great line,
right?
Yeah.
It's got some of the best players. Rantanen was really turning it on tonight too.
God,
He was a close second, yeah. And there's been a lot of shit talk about Rantanen lately within the fan base. Do you think that's deserved?
No, never. No, I think Rantanen, he's elite. I don't know. He's one of the most, if not the most underrated player in the NHL. The guy's friggin' elite, and people are like, oh yeah, he's like okay. And you're like, he's not just okay, he's amazing. He had the 55-goal season. That doesn't just happen for whatever players, So.
No, and I mean, he didn't revert back to a pumpkin like Tage Thompson this year.
No,
he had a big
exactly.
goal season and doesn't. He's still a great player.
Yeah.
Definitely no need for that shit right there. All right, so why don't we move back to the Leafs? Gregor is out for a second straight game.
Yep.
So that's Ryan Reeves drawing into the lineup. Do you think that's more of Reeves, or do you think Gregor's starting to get the shit list here and he's going to be out?
I think it's a bit of both, but mostly that Reeves has been playing better. He's kind of that line. The fourth line's just been amazing, really. Since it was when they put Holmberg down there with Gregor, I thought that it was better. But now it's just a whole other level with Reeves there. I'm not sure like how he's found this kind of jump in his step, and I would actually say a lot of it is his timing of getting off the ice, and yeah, it's just been working. Like they had a really important shift in the third period that kind of led the snowball to the last goal by Bert. So I thought that he in particular has been way better than he has been earlier in the season, and I'm not sure what the reason is. Maybe it was the rest, like getting benched. He knows that his spot is in jeopardy, but he's found like another 2 steps closer to the puck every time. Looks actually like he can chase down. Like he's not going to be ever the best forechecker in the world, but as long as in the defensive zone he can get out to his mark, that's all I really care about. And yeah, he's not coming out unless like he needs a day to sit. Like, I don't know. Like, we'll see how that goes. But
probably when Calle Yarncroke comes back, that spot's going to be taken by him. I wonder if he's going to kick anybody else out. Although Reeves does make such an impact on that fourth line, you almost do want him there. I just don't think Gregor has a job anymore there. I don't think there's anything for him to do that we can't get from somebody else. And he's not producing, and he's just eating up minutes from somebody else who could be producing, like actually, because everybody else seems to be playing well, or playing another role, like Ryan Reeves, where he's not filling the net, he's filling your face. So
yeah, I would say too that like if like Gregor's definitely not coming out, whether Reeves is scratched when Yarncroke comes back, like it could be Robertson as well, just based on the role being played there. But like I could also see it just being moved around, but I don't see at that point Gregor getting back in. Like he might as well just send him through waivers.
I mean, now that like at the beginning of the year they didn't have options because Ryan Reeves played like shit. At this point in the year they don't really have options because they have injury to Calle Yarncroke, and so on and so forth. But at this point, you can't see anything that Noah Gregor is going to do to get himself back into the lineup, especially when we have a healthy Yarncroke. It makes no sense. I see no reason for him to be back here. I think he should just be traded off for a low pick and move on with your life. Noah Gregor doesn't have a spot in this team anymore. So since the turn of the calendar for the Leafs, they're the second best in terms of points. Big problem with that. The first is the Florida Panthers. Do you think we have a fucking chicken dick's chance in hell against the Panthers in the first round or second round potentially?
Yeah, like I think that this team has a better chance than last year's team, just based on how the team is built. I think like tonight was a test because I think that like the Avalanche are built in a skilled and fast way that really tests the Leafs in this year's design. Like the Leafs probably would have done better off in that style last year, you know. So against Florida in particular, I kind of like how they match up this year, because like even when you take out Reeves, like you still have more bite in the lineup, like Domi and Bertuzzi, and I think that was one of the major things missing from that series last year. So yeah, I am getting more and more excited about seeing this team later in the year, because like they were just playing so awful, unlike a playoff team, and now we're like on a 6 games, is it 7 games now, 6 games,
7-game win streak,
7 games now where like they've actually changed their identity in a way.
And they've beat a couple of good teams. They've beat some actual hockey teams. Like this isn't a bunch of scrubs now. At one point I was saying, but I mean now they've taken out Vegas, they've taken out Colorado. They've beat a couple of good teams in this. And I mean, like I'd have to go back, but I'm sure that wasn't the only good teams they've beaten in this stretch. The Leafs are looking good. You're not wrong to be optimistic about going forward into the playoffs, I don't think, with this group.
I think something too, like it was nice in the first like 4 games because like they were middle of the road teams. Like 2 of them were St. Louis, and you have Arizona in there. So like, but they were playing really well. But just the last 2 games, you've seen where things haven't been really going their way. The ice is tilted in their direction, like towards their end. And they're kind of figured out how to like survive throughout those points. Like they go into a survival mode, and I think Bertuzzi's kind of the best at that mode, where he lays his life on the line there to block shots and do whatever it takes. And so I think that's been what's been the best part for me. It's not like, and it's great that like lower in the lineup is scoring throughout this run, and but you're still producing from your stars. But to me, it's just like how they've, as a team, found a defensive way to battle. Even when you're losing someone like Riley, that's the impressive part to me.
Oh, it's been very impressive. 7 games in a row. Let's hope they can keep it up here. So I want to go back to the Avs. McKinnon extended his home game point streak. There's a record right now, and it's 40 games. I think it's Gretzky has it, right? It's 40 games he scored in every home game. That was when there was 80 games.
Yeah.
Now there's 82. JB, Justin Bourne from Kipper and Bourne, actually tweeted, Nate McKinnon plays like he hates the actual ice. And that's a compliment. This guy tries harder than anybody else you've seen, and he's so good. Like him and Connor McDavid can play so fast, so much faster than the rest of the league. Like if there was just like a group of players like them, the super teams that you could create with guys like that, but there's only like a handful maybe that can play with the game at that speed. Do you think he is going to be able to break this record of 40 games and score in or get a point in every single home game this year?
Ooh, that is it's a tough bill, but I mean, God, he's doing it. He's done it.
At this point, it's hard to say he's not gonna.
I know. It's like,
it's still the odds are still stacked against him so hard. Like even if he does his best, like things happen. You might have to miss a game for whatever reason. Like just we're so far away still. True. But if a guy's gonna do it, like he's on the roll to do it for sure.
Yeah, so he's 12 games away now from tying the 40 games, and if they've got 13 remaining home games, which they should in an 82 game season, yeah, he could potentially do that.
That'd be crazy. Like
that's
nuts. That's one of those stats where like you feel like it's never going to get broken. It feels like one of like the Gretzky stats, right? And like
is.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like just one of those where it's just like there's no way anyone's going to come close. But like yeah, it's not very often we get to talk about one that like Gretzky's one of his records are going to get broken. So
yeah, and it's kind of like a technicality one, like you said, like how there used to only be 80 games, so there would only be 40 home games. Now with 41 home games, it's beatable.
There's a chance to be broken.
Yeah.
So I say he does it. If there's a place to bet that, I say he does it, and I put money on that. I think he could do it. If anybody's going to do it,
fun
it's
bet.
going to be.
I'd like to know if Gretzky scored in the first game of the next season, to make it 41. Just like because he didn't get to do it in the one season, but did he in his next game? You know,
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. That's true. Does that carry over multiple seasons? I think we're
Yeah, I was
talking a
gonna say,
single season record here.
I just mean
season
because he
before,
didn't have the chance to, right? Like,
Yes.
you know, like that's the
Yeah.
only reason I would be like, well, there's an asterisk because
Yeah, but still.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Still. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, even then, like, okay, so then are we going to take away a bunch of Ovechkin's goals? We have to take away 2 games a year where he scored because he got to play 2 extra games than Gretzky?
no, it's just it's such
No.
a specific one. You know,
That's
that's
stupid.
not even close to related. You know, it's just like
Yeah, it's stupid. You can't just because times are different. You can only play with what you have. Is my point. So now that he has an extra one, it's not like we can go back and say if it's a single season record. It's a single season record. Sure, Gretzky can still be he can hold that and he might have done it again the next year. But that's not the point. And that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about one season back to back to back, no rest in between.
yeah. I just thought I'd be
mean,
curious to look it up. Not that it would
For
change
sure.
the actual stat. That's all.
Yeah,
Right.
sure. That definitely would be interesting to see how much further he's extended it than that. So Cale Makar not extending something. He ends his career-long point drought at 7 games tonight.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that because it's not huge in the media. Oh my God, can you imagine in Colorado? It's not end of the world when one of your best players goes in a bit of a slump. Well, that
Yeah.
bit of a slump's over. So did you think Cale Makar's been playing good for the last bit? Could you tell he's slumping? What were your thoughts on it?
I had to agree with the guys on altitude, Motion Riker. Riker made the point that it didn't even seem like Cale was in a drought. He's been playing really good hockey. He's been like what we would call a lot of like third assists, kind of like he's been part of plays, just not on the score sheet part of the play. And then, I mean, doing his defensive thing, he's all over all over the ice as he is. You see him up on plays, you see him back on plays. But I have noticed something. I wouldn't say I've noticed his play dip. He's been the same old Cale Makar, just things haven't been going in the net for him or, been part of the play. But something I have noticed from Cale lately is a little bit of, I don't know if it's soft on the puck or hesitation or what, but he's made a pretty good string of bad passes in games. The last couple of Avs games I've been watching, I've noticed some passes from Cale that I'm not expecting it to be number 8 when I see that, he flubbed it. That's got to be that's bottom 6, right? Like that's Cale. Wow. One of those moments.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I wonder, there's talk at the All-Star game about him getting in his own head and saying that I think it was one of the interviews he did that said he wasn't happy with his play up to this point in the season, and I wonder if that's part of it getting in his head. Jared Bednar made a comment that said Cale Makar's been fighting the puck. He's still been creating a lot of offense and being typical Cale, and he's a great defender, but it seems like when the puck's on his stick, he's fighting it a lot more than usual. Did you agree with that?
That's well put by Bednar, I would say, yeah. I mean, he's got obviously a good look at the team and what they're doing on the ice, but yeah, that's well put. I would say he's kind of fighting it right now. Some of those passes aren't going his way, and it's not a lack of skill. It's obviously it's something. It's either he's in his head, or he's fighting that puck.
PDO, which is puck luck.
Yeah, a little bit of that.
So we had
tonight.
lots of PDO tonight.
Yeah.
Few posts at both ends.
Yeah.
But how about Ilya Samsonov's play and sweeping one off the line tonight?
Yeah, not the only big save he had to make either. I feel like the Rantanen one, the goal against him, is one of those the typical goal against Samsonov from distance. But there was a lot of saves tonight where I felt like a lot of goalies don't get. He's so scrambly, and we talk about it being a negative, but sometimes it's a positive if he can kind of control it. Because a few times, like you said, the goal where he swipes it off the goal line. Another one where he has to do the starfish because it's under him and he's been scrambling around, but it works, right? But then I also saw him coming across the crease and where he stops at the post, right, and holds a still position, very calm. When he was having his slump, he would have been falling towards that puck to make a save, but instead he's holding strong to his post, and those are the little things that I think he's just improved on massively. So yeah, big part of the win tonight. He held them in a lot of tough times. I felt it's not just not every shot got blocked. There's quite a few, in close, in the slot. The high danger chances
line.
tonight must be super heavy weighted to Avalanche tonight. Like, but yeah, he's part of the team, and he sometimes has a way of just out battling the other goalie. And like that's really all you're asking from your goalie is to be better than the other guy. And like tonight, I felt like he kind of had that mentality. And when one went in, it didn't shake him like it could. So yeah, great night from Sammy.
There was the one I thought he looked maybe a little like he was kind of like doing the old like head forward, angry goalie head kind of movement after the Rantanen one, because it was right as he went to look around the screen, and that's what Rantanen was waiting for. He's waiting for that moment. As soon as he saw that opening, and Sammy knew it obviously, but yeah, he held it down. Obviously, out battled Georgie. Georgie was pissed at that one, the pass from Nylander, and he was looking the complete wrong way. Obviously,
went the wrong way. Yeah,
that no goalie likes that. But yeah, I mean that was the winner, Hattie from Bertuzzi, I should say. Sorry,
Bertuzzi.
New name, yeah.
New name. Yeah, so no, you were right, CP. High danger chances for the Avalanche tonight, 13. High danger chances for the Leafs are 7. So 13. Right. I mean, that's a decent amount. That's a high scoring offense. Now, at the end of the day, expected goals for was 51% to 48%, 51.97 to 48.03. So it was a close game, except for high danger chances. And Sammy stood on his head. How about Max Domi hitting 400 points, playing second line center, making $3 million? Do you think that's going to last off going through this stretch here into the playoffs, or do you think he's going to overcorrect back and put John Tavares there for game 1?
No, I think that it's going to be here to stay, I think, because I think that it's just been like they've been performing in this lineup. And B is just that this kind of gives Keefe the ability now to roll 3 lines and like he can't operate as a 2-line coach. Like he just way overplays his top guys. And I think to have, I'm not still sold on Robertson being that left winger or right winger, whatever he's playing on that line. Just because I think Keefe is always going to want to give them some tough minutes. So it'll just depend on Robertson's play. But Domi moving up, I think, was the best thing for him. Like he's not a shutdown guy. And so we were trying to design this 3rd line scoring line, but just didn't have quite the depth on wing to give him enough players.
Punch. Yeah. Not enough punch to it.
So to have him up with Willie and Bertuzzi, I think it's just such a perfect fit. All 3 of them, I think, are benefiting from it. Domi and Bertuzzi from having like-minded players on a line. And Willie I've never seen him buy into physical play like he has since having these 2 line mates. Like he gets angry sometimes, like he's cross-checking, head faking, like he's willing to take a hit,
putting a glove in somebody's face.
And I just if that's the Willie we're going to be seeing, like we should have paid him more money, because you add that to his game. And he's I think that's something that we miss from our stars. And like I want it to be Matthews that brings that, but if it's going to be Willie, then like I'm A-okay with that. Like
that would be like, and if you were to go back at like 6 years ago and you were to say one of these guys is going to develop into a really gritty player, Mitch, Willie, or Austin, which one do you think it would be? We'd probably be like, Austin probably is going to do it, isn't he? Yeah, no, it's definitely not going to, like, is Mitch going to, I don't know, that's hard. Like, Mitch and Willie are soft. No, not now. Yes, this is really good for him. These 2 line mates, I think, Bertuzzi and Domi bringing out the best in William Nylander for sure. And Max Domi thriving as a second line center. 400 points is in career points. Like, I mean, he's a legit NHLer. So I think it's a great spot for him, and I hope Keefe doesn't overcorrect and, like I said, put Tavares back up there when it gets maybe tough, if they lose a couple, or if it goes all good right to the playoffs and he just decides he's the smartest man in the room and puts John Tavares back up there. I really fucking hope that doesn't happen. I also really like the split power plays that we have seen the last few games. I'm liking the distribution of talent. I'm liking the depth. I feel like that's going to be the key to success with this hockey team.
Honestly,
it's holding Matthews back from scoring and all.
Yeah,
not at all.
No, do what you want. The guy still
he doesn't need that many minutes. He'll still put it in the net.
I still too think though it is a 1-line power play. Like the second when it goes out there, I'm just like, it doesn't feel like what I thought with putting JT on there. But like
They
Bertuzzi
still only get 30 seconds. That's the thing.
that's
It's
the
not
thing
like,
is they're not splitting it like we got two
Yeah.
going. So,
no,
but
they're
I've
splitting
been
talent, but they're not splitting time.
no, and like Bertuzzi's always been a great net front guy. So to swap him and Tavares just seems like such an easy transition. You know, you could swap them back, and I bet you it wouldn't make a massive difference on the power play. But also, though, Bertuzzi has the ability to be a playmaker. You know, like he can bump down to the boards and make a nice pass, which I think is one of Tavares's weak points. So yeah, I think that it's been like great the way that it's been going. I like it. Anytime now that you can get Bertuzzi more minutes, like put him out there.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised after this recent stretch of play, the last couple of games with goals, this hat trick tonight, feeling good, getting on the top power play. I could see Tyler Bertuzzi going on a bit of a run here towards the end of the year. And I don't know, ending up with maybe 15 goals. Like I could see him scoring 7 more goals over the rest of the year. Maybe we could talk about Tyler Bertuzzi 20 goal watch if he keeps on this pace. But I think that a lot of it was him fighting it, him on the schneid. You know, he really wasn't at shitlock. You know, he couldn't get anything to go his way, bad bounces. But now that things are starting to look up and he's not playing on the third line, he's kind of found his home on the second there with Nylander and Domi. He's getting power play time, more power play time. I think you could see a positive regression for Tyler Bertuzzi coming in the future.
Yeah, no question. I think that like how many empty nets did he miss when he was on his streak? You know, like those are things that
Posts too.
Yeah, posts. Like he hit a crossbar tonight. He could have had more goals. I just feel like he had so many opportunities where traditionally in years past he would have just tapped in. But he got to a point where like he just he had the yips. It's just he just couldn't figure it out. And I was screaming at him to put tape on his stick at one point just because like do something, man. Like it's just not working. But yeah, most players are going to go through those streaks. You know, even Austin Matthews goes through points droughts. You know, Nathan McKinnon one day will go through one.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe one day. So I think that
if there's one game without points for Nathan McKinnon, that's technically a drought for him. Just for the standard that he's set.
From his standard for sure, especially at home. But yeah,
fucking guy.
Yeah.
Automatic.
Anyways, what else do you got here for this game, CP?
I think like Marner to me is we just still have to be talking about him. Like he might not be like flashing as much in these tough games, the last two in particular, but he's just doing everything that I always said where he was like everything gets tense in these tight games. He's still finding the room to be loose and free and making good plays while still getting the shutdown role tonight. Like we haven't really spoken about it, but it's kind of was odd that Keefe was just automatically throwing Matthews out there anytime McKinnon was out there. And it's because like he was scared of that line. He would rather take no goals from Matthews and just limit what McKinnon can do rather than try and do like a fight for a 7-5 goal, like a game where both Matthews and McKinnon are going off. So I thought like he didn't even give him really like any chances by himself and try and match in any way. So, but I mean, it was kind of working. You know, you're never going to shut down McKinnon totally. You know, like that play where Riley's diving across to try and catch up to McKinnon. Like that's just going to happen. Like I don't even blame Riley for that. It's like McKinnon's just unreal speed burst. Like you're going to get burnt sometimes. So yeah, but Marner and Matthews, I thought even though the production points wise wasn't quite there, I thought they played quite well for what they were assigned to.
Yeah, for sure. It's amazing what a win streak can do for a team's swagger, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
This team, like Mitch Marner himself, I have to say that a lot of this swagger that you see, a lot of this freeness that you see is because they're getting wins probably on nights where they were going into these games not sure they were going to be able to win. And they come out, they're getting the secondary scoring lately. And with that, that's given lots of the team confidence to go out there and play more of their game, play the full bout of their game. Although at night, there was times tonight where the Leafs were struggling, and that was because they were playing scared, right? Like it wasn't like they were afraid to get hurt. It looked like they were afraid to make a mistake. And once they got over that and realized, like, we're a good hockey team, we're keeping with these guys, they might have 2 on us, but we can still come back. They're not just dominating us through this. they pushed and they freed up and they got some goals and they made it a game. They ended up winning, right? But Mitch Marner, I think a lot of his confidence and a lot of it just trickles down the lineup. But starting with the Stars and Mitch Marner, I think that comes from all the wins that we've seen lately. And you can't really blame them if you think you're the shit.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily see them come out scared. I just felt like they're coming out against a faster and tough team. And like that's not going to last for 60 minutes. So like I was saying earlier with like being in a survival mode, like sometimes you can't just always be looking for offense. Like sometimes you got to realize the situation and buckle down. And they did it for the first 5 minutes of the Vegas game and were able to break through, and they had to do it here like a lot of times.
They started really good here. I didn't find it was the same way, but there was a point probably midway through the first 10-minute mark or so where nobody held the puck for more than a split second. And that, like, take the puck. Somebody has to hero mode for a second here to create something. If everybody's just going to take it and chip it, take it and chip it, take it and chip it, you're not going to get anything going. And they were down by 2 at that point, right? Or maybe down by a goal at least. I know they're down by a goal because they went down real early. But when they're down, they're looking for offense and nobody's carrying the puck. I thought, to me, it looked scared. I thought that they looked like they didn't want to make another mistake, and I can understand that, but to get things going, you have to take a chance. And once they realized, oh, we're fucking good, they started taking chances, right? I just think for a bit there, they had a little bit of doubt in themselves that they were going to be able to keep up with this Colorado team, especially after the second goal went in.
Yeah, I remember that actually chunk of time as well, but I just was looking at it in a different way. Of just that, like, I was loving the smart decision. Like, don't do too much. Like, we're kind of at a risk here of this game getting out of hand. And, like, yeah, like, it's in our zone.
Do something, though. I was like, poke them with a stick. Do something. Don't just chip the puck in. Fuck, you're never going to get anything done. You guys
are winning
the battles in the corners.
This team, like, the best sequence for me, if you've been under pressure for a minute, is 3 chips. Is that each forward gets one to each blue line and one in the middle of the ice, and you do 3 chips along the boards, get it in, get a line change, and then you try and get something going on a forecheck. You know, so like we just see it differently.
Happening, and that's the problem. It just, if they could do that and that was successful, I would have definitely had a different opinion. But it was chip, line change, Colorado rushes up the ice, and we're back on our own end. We win the puck back, we get chip. It was just, there was never anybody had any gas left. And I mean, that could be from spending extended times in your own zone. Understandably so. But at the same time, I was screaming for a hero in that moment because I'm like, you can't just fucking chip the puck, and expect to come back from a 2-goal lead. Now, they figured it out. They stopped doing that. Momentum shifted. But in that moment there, I thought, like, we're hung up on the point that I was trying to make, is that their confidence changed all of that. They realized, like, we don't have to play like this, and started holding the puck and making plays. But in that moment, in that 5-minute streak, they weren't playing with the puck. They looked like the Carolina Hurricanes, where they don't want the puck. I just don't know. I don't want the puck. You take the puck.
They're a great team, though.
They're a great team, but like, it's just the Leafs didn't have the forecheck or the style of play to get in and get those pucks back and make things happen. And that's why I didn't like it.
Fair enough.
Yep. So what about you, Ted? You got any closing thoughts on this game between the Colorado Avalanche and Toronto Maple Leafs?
Yeah. You know, good game, guys. You know, our last game, we obviously had the 5 unanswered goals, and then this one went the other way. So, great game, guys. You know, it was fun to, to have that back and forth. Quite the game. You know, would have liked to get at least a point out of it, but hey, you guys are on a roll right now. What can I say?
On a roll, yeah. We needed them too. It's nice to be on the winning side every now and again.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Maybe we'll meet again in the playoffs, in the finals, boys. Maybe that was a Stanley Cup final.
That's right,
preview,
in the finals. In the finals. We'll see you there, bitch.
Wouldn't that be amazing in the first year of our podcast?
Oh, that would be amazing.
That would be something. We would definitely have to get down and cover it from the square or something, because there's no way we wouldn't be a part of that. Anyways, the Leafs are playing Vegas again on Tuesday, 7 p.m. There's no way in hell that game's going to go the same way that it did last time. Do you expect a button-up, tighten down from Vegas, or do you think they really have a choice? because they're missing, I don't know if Eichel's back, but they're missing Eichel, they're missing Stone, they're missing a few key pieces. Do you think the Leafs have good chances at extending this to 8?
I think, yeah. I mean, when you're on a roll, like, you always have a great chance of winning the next one because your confidence is so high. I think the Eichel situation is getting close, but I doubt that he's going to be back for that game. So I think it's going to be like a similar lineups that we saw. Vegas is a team to me that should have played better defensively than when we saw them. Like, that's their whole thing, right? Like, they have some, like, they basically, to me, they have a couple high-end players, a lot of the same kind of player throughout the lineup, and then just an elite defensive core. So I think that we'll probably see a more buttoned up game. And like, I would like to see that to, you know, if you could pull off a win 2-1 against Vegas, like try and change the style a bit. I think that would be awesome to show you could do it both ways.
2-1 sounds like my blood pressure is going to be high. Sounds like a nail biter. I don't want 2-1. I'll do like 3-1, 4-1. Let's do it. Let's just keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be back after that game. This game is over. Thank you for listening. Thank you for commenting. Hit that like button on your way out. Subscribe to our YouTube. Rate us 5 stars on all the podcasting platforms. And if you really, really like us, leave us a review, please. You can find us on X at STDP Hockey and search for Split the Defense on all other socials to find anything that we're up to. Until next time, peace.
Peace.
Both.
Thanks for tuning in to Split the Defense,
Split the defense.
Leafs Postgame Edition. Hosted by Jordan Webster, Craig Pearce, and producer Ted Evans. Split the Defense is presented by LaForest Electrical Contractors. Professional and efficient service since 2004, serving the Kingston and surrounding areas.